Today we're moving our boat into her new home, which is a pretty major milestone in this project.
It feels like it's an end of an era in a way.
You see, this move marks the start of the next major chapter of the build, the fit out of the systems and interior. We got all of our seacocks and the through holes. We're gonna cut that diameter hole in the bottom of the hull. And so what are your plans, Sam? Build another boat?
It's a big day today. We're moving the boat into the new shed.
Yeah.
Which is literally right next to the shed we've been in.
We're moving from shed 6 to shed 7.
Two sheds.
So why is this such a cool milestone?
Look, it's already out.
Shoot. Jeez, guys.
Yep, we missed it. Dang it.
But luckily, the crew's been hanging around long enough to pick up a few tricks when it comes to filming.
It looks way different out of the shed. It's kind of crazy to see it. So this shed has a longer roof, which is good because it protects more of the back of the boat. And it would be nice to be like right next to that as well. Here she comes, shed 7. I feel like that back roof is even longer when you see it out of the shed. It's crazy. I think we're also trying to put the boat a little bit to the side so we have more space on one side and the other. And this will basically be where the boat is going to be until she's done. So this is where we'll do all the interior and everything. It'll be wild to see it out and about.
Yeah. I was able to get about 2.5 minutes of drone shots in.
Yeah.
I think it's time to put the rudders in now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're bringing the boat up to be able to put that in?
Just gonna tilt the bow down, bring the stern up so we can just chuck the rudder. And the bearings are water lubricated, so it should just slide right in. And everything's aligned correctly.
Hitting this huge milestone just got me reflecting on the past 8 months, and it's just mind-blowing how much have happened. We moved off of Delos, we arrived in Australia, and now life is just way more on the schedule. Sierra's in school, there's emails, meeting, and long hours in the shop. And honestly, I've really enjoyed this change of pace, but I'm also very grateful I have Ryan. We do lean on each other a lot. But sometimes it's just nice to have someone to talk to that isn't right in the middle of it all. And that's why I'm happy BetterHelp is the paid partner of this week's video. I've seen a therapist on and off at different times in my life, not necessarily because something has been wrong, but more to figure out like why I've been feeling a certain way, how to handle those feelings better, to keep moving forward. And with BetterHelp, it's super easy to get started. You just fill out a quick questionnaire and they will match you with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. And if it's not the right fit, switching therapist is super easy, so you will never get stuck. If you feel like you can benefit from therapy too, click the link in the description below or head on over to betterhelp.com/Delos to get 10% off your first month. Yeah, I wanted to say something else that I thought about is you don't necessarily have to be dealing with depression or anxiety to benefit from therapy. Like for me right now, it's more about having someone who can like support and guide and inspire me, and it's been awesome. Okay, now I'm gonna head back and see what the boys are up to.
That's a relief.
I know.
That means we align the bearings somewhat correctly.
That's great.
Yeah. Went in real nice. Super smooth.
Moving the boat over was the easy part. Setting her back down, however, is where you really need to be spot on. We want her to be absolutely level. Even being just a little bit off can throw off the interior and make our lives pretty difficult moving forward.
Now Dan is basically bringing out the laser leveler, and making sure that the boat is completely straight. So that's going to be really crucial when, we do all the interior and everything like that.
And that side's still going to come down more, so come down to this one touches.
So yesterday, before everything was removed, Zach put a bunch of reference lines on the boat because it was perfectly level in the shed. And so now they're just doing the same thing with the laser level, trying to get it in line so that the laser aligns with the same reference lines as yesterday. And we can know that it's level again, which will make things a lot easier for building the interior out, right?
Yeah.
If it's level.
I'm going to need another 300 that. Hey, Dave.
The travel lift kind of moves the boat up and down a little bit to accommodate what Dan is saying, and then he can put some logs and just like little flat bar of aluminum under there. Needed a few more mil?
Yeah, another 3 mil at the back corner and we'll be...
Yep.
Right. Right, bring it down, mate.
Got her good?
It went pretty smooth, actually. Yeah. Pretty smooth and smooth.
I feel like the back roof looks bigger than...
It looks a
Right?
lot bigger when it comes out of the shed. doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've done a little bit different. Instead of putting her directly in the middle, we've offset a little bit
Yep.
the port side, so we still have plenty of room over here to work. But then look at the starboard side. We can put like some shelves over here, store all of our stuff, maybe some working tables,
Yeah. Don't open that. It is disgusting.
I mean, it's cold, but look
Look
here.
at that fish, is so
What is that? There's like,
It is like dog food, sauce, and eggs.
think about it. So this is our boat home for the next, until we're done.
How do you feel though, Brian? It feels like it's a kind of a...
It's a big milestone.
It feels like it's an end of an era in
It
a way.
is. I mean, the metalwork's amazing. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's
Yeah.
tough, hot, grinding, physically demanding work.
Yeah.
The fit out will be no cakewalk, but I feel like I've gotten enough metal dust in my
In your
in
life
my
for
eyes
now.
and my hair to last me a lifetime.
Yeah. We still have a few more
There's a
metal
few
stuff.
Like
to
what
do?
else do we have to do? We have to build like ladders for
Yep.
the forepeaks and the engine rooms,
Like the beds inside.
bed frames,
A
floor
few
extensions.
things. And
but
the videos are gonna change a little bit coming up too, right?
yeah,
Because it's gonna be more
just me and you.
systems. Yes, me and you. And
And you.
a lot more systems, a lot more interior and stuff. So
First of all, we're super happy with the progress. Like, you guys have just freaking rocked it. It's been
About 8 months.
About 8 months to finish a complete hole to that level is just blown away. So well done, man. Really appreciate everything.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for the opportunity.
yeah, no, it's been amazing, and we're really excited to start to fit out the portion. And so, what are your plans, man?
Build another boat.
Build another boat? Does that mean that there's a build slot open?
There is a build spot open. Definitely is.
If you're interested, what I would do is I would head on over to svdelos.com/Delos2. There's a bunch of information on the Delos 53 model in there. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the website. There's a little form that you can fill out. You just put in your name, like what you're looking for, like your plans and stuff. You click submit. It's going to go to Rob. On Dan's team. He's going to get back to you. And then they're going to sort it out. Yeah, I just can't speak highly enough for the quality of the work and the speed at which they do it.
Get your orders in.
So what we're doing right now is straight back into it, installing the pintle at the bottom. So this guy is rather snug fit. This is basically a piece of acetal, super hard plastic, and it fits inside this, and it fits onto this. You can imagine this part in there with the bushing in between it to hold it on the bottom. And then this part, you can see how there's holes. It gets drilled and tapped into this, and that's kind of what secures the bottom of the rudder. Yeah, so after this is on and done, we can start working on the top part, right? Which is the tiller arms and the tie rods and the steering and all that stuff. So.
Little bees dig under there, eh?
Bee's dick is not very much in Australia.
I didn't realise, Kaz. I thought you were Nate. Sorry. Excuse my French, Kaz.
It's like a smidge.
We might just take a little lick off the bottom of that, wind up, and then we're going to take 5 mil off that. We should be giggling. Either shrunk or expanded.
I might own it. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Took 5 mil off of it. Because this probably changed a little bit because Dan just welded this. That's the thing about aluminum, right? Every time you heat it, it changes. And now I've got a little bit of work to do.
Jeez, what a crazy thing.
Yep. Almost. A little bit more.
Unlike the self-aligning top and bottom bearings we installed in the hole from Jeffa, this bearing is a simple machined piece of super hard plastic called acetal, with very close tolerances for a friction fit. Its purpose is to attach the bottom of the rudder stock to the skeg. While the upper bearings provide the support on the horizontal plane, this bearing provides support on the vertical plane, locking it in place. So I was going little by little so that it would fit snugly, and I didn't want to overdo it and end up with a sloppy fit. With multiple fits and checks, it took a little while, but with a bit of persistence, we eventually got her fitting real nice. The next step was to drill and tap the pintle plate to the skeg. It can't be welded, otherwise we'd never be able to drop the rudder for maintenance.
So when you say tap it, what do you mean?
Okay, so this is an M10 countersunk bolt. So what we've done is we've gone through it with an 8.5 mil drill bit to a little bit past this. This is 50 mils. And now that we've done that, we'll take this piece off. This is the tap. So this will put the threads in this. Now that we've match drilled these holes, then we take this part off, then I'll tap the threads into this piece, and then we'll drill this out to be M10. This will slide through here, and then when it gets to the bottom part, there'll be threads.
Since we don't have a bolt on the other side.
Exactly. We're making threads.
And because we'll have a stainless bolt going directly into aluminum threads, there's a risk of galvanic corrosion, so we'll use a combination of Chef Gel and Loctite on the threads to prevent it.
Now once it gets started, you can't just do it all the way. You have to back it off a little bit because you have to remove that material from the thread.
So that's gonna be your next hour,
At least.
at least.
And we have two sides, right?
Yeah.
Building a boat. Gonna take us around the world. Gonna retire and sail around the world, Kaz.
Yep.
That's the plan. Sticking to it.
Looks great. Oh, we have 4%, 3% battery left.
Quick, talk fast, Dan. How's it going? Good. It's good.
I'm alright, it's the rest of the world that's up to shit.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Doesn't that look nice and smooth? Smooth.
Okay. It's the end of another pretty full day at the shop.
But at the yard, just as one full day comes to an end, another begins. But today feels extra special. That's because a package arrived, making the start of fitting the systems on Delos 2.0. And this one just happens to be right in my wheelhouse.
This is very cool. We got all of our seacocks and the through holes. So these are from Forespar. The product is Marilon, and the reason why I chose these is because they are all composite construction. These basically we put a backing plate inside the hole that's 8 millimeter. We cut a hole in that with a hole saw. This goes on the top, this goes in from the outside, but do you see how that's concave right there? So it's flush with the hole. And then you've got a very strong 100% composite seacock that will not cause any galvanic corrosion issues. It will not corrode, it will not rust. Huge thanks to the guys from Forespar for sending this out. They're a very cool company in California. So this is the same thing, but it's electric. And so this will be for our toilets. And so we won't have to go down underneath anything. If we need to change the tank setting, we can do it inside with a button. I am going to start cutting the backing plates because the backing plates need to be welded inside the hull. And the reason for that is, if you imagine, we're gonna cut that diameter hole in the bottom of the hull, and then since this is tapered, if this sits up in the hull, we've changed the thickness of the aluminum from 6 mil to whatever the edge of that taper is. So I'm gonna take this hole saw, I'm gonna cut circles out, that's gonna be put down inside the hole, fully welded, and then it'll double up the thickness of the hole where these go through. And my next step right now is the backing plates need to be welded inside the hull. Let's go have a look at where that came out, make sure it's in a good spot. Like that's a good spot, right there. This is gray water. This is cooling water for the shaft seal, and this is for the sea chest. So the sea chest will feed like the air conditioning, like the deck washdown, like the water pump, anything that requires salt water from outside. So
We'll have 2 below the water line in each engine room and 1 above the water line for gray water. And then the rest of the boat will be plumbed to this gray water hole, so we won't have like a seacock under the sink, like a seacock for the shower, like a seacock for the galley. Everything will run into the internal gray water system and then out this exit here, which is very similar to how it's done on Delos, except Delos goes into a gray water tank, which has to be pumped out. And so that thing gets clogged up quite often. Here, we're able to use the height of the boat to have enough run on the gray water system that gravity will naturally feed it out and everything will come out here.
So the next part of the process with the through holes is TIG welding around the outside. So Kurt is working on that right now.
Turned out really well. Kurt just finished TIG welding these up, but you can see how it's been contoured to fit this, so it fits flush just like that. And then I put the seacock on the other side. I think it looks pretty nice. I'm real happy with how it turned out.
Make sure that's not Brian's glory hole.
Maybe I do want that to be the glory hole though.
Up next on Delos, things start to get messy, both inside and outside the workshop.
Oh no, I went the wrong way.
Complete failure.
Oh no,
It's not the seal that's leaking,
it's the bolt.
it's still the bolts. So that's no good at all. I think we're gonna have to rethink this whole thing, Cass.
How has it been, Dan?
Been good.
Yeah?
Been really good.
How have you liked being filmed?
Head for radio.